Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck, I think we're... Oh.
You think we're what?
We might be live right now. I think I did something. We're live. We're live right now.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Okay, I got the link. I'm sending it to you right now.
Where'd you send it to me?
Text message.
Okay.
That was probably it.
It was. And so I just need to copy this. I should be able to copy this. Where'd my glasses go now? Okay, copy. Let's see if I can send this to the group.
Do 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 do.
All right, just send it to the group.
You sent it?
Yep.
Nice.
All right. Do you think we're going to get...
Well, I can tell you right now there's 2 people watching. So to those 2 people, hello. We will be starting our topic soon. Kyle, if you want to open that link and just leave it open, you can look at the chat that's going to be on there, on your phone.
Oh, gotcha.
Look at, I'm from Hatu. You know where Hatu is, Kyle? Look at my hat.
No.
Look at my hat.
No. Look at my hat.
Oh, you could turn that all the way down. How's my mic? Is it too loud or?
No, your mic is just fine.
Okay.
Your mic is just fine. All right. I see how we're set up here. People were just trying this live. We didn't know we were going to necessarily be live, but we just set this up. We've got a premise for a podcast that we're gonna just do a little pilot on, right, Gav?
Mm-hmm. This is just gonna be a test episode, kind of, see how the chemistry is between uncle and nephew, and go ahead.
And our thought really was, as Gavin and I have tried to be very thoughtful in our lives about all the things that go on in our lives, just a podcast about how men of different ages think on topics, how we feel, how we like to act to people around us, whether it be colleagues, women, friends, family, all those things. And we thought it would be an awful lot of fun, so we came up with it over this weekend, and true to our word, we're talking on Monday night and figured we'd give it a shot.
Yeah. And what better to do on a Monday night than enjoy a nice apple cider, right?
Exactly. And what better, even if I'm just talking to my nephew, although it'd be nice to talk to other people as well to get their input and see what we're see what people want us to talk about. So, Gavin, I wanted to kind of throw this out as a first topic, only because this weekend, it's always so funny what divorces do to families. And it's an interesting topic for me because I've been divorced. I've been around people that have been divorced. Certainly, I think I know some people that probably should get divorced based on the behavior that they're going through, and yet stick together.
Toxic.
And so I never had to experience it as a child, but I certainly know step parents through death. But divorce, I put quite the pressure on my kids and having to deal with it, and now over the last couple of months, actually, there's a kind of a friendliness that exists, a respect, if you will, between my ex, and it's making the kids feel a lot more comfortable. My kids are adults, they're all in their 20s.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole idea of divorce, what it does to a family, and what's the best way to deal with it, just is something that caught my eye, and how that affects the different generations, whether it be parents of people that divorce, or children, or kind of anywhere in between, and friends, etc.
So, from my perspective, as you know, my mother and father got divorced when I wasn't I 7, I think?
Yeah, probably.
I can't remember. Yeah, I was just a little baby, but oh man, it was so long ago. Now we're talking 20 years. So I remember in the moment. I remember when they told me. That stuck with me. I don't think I'll ever forget that moment. I don't really necessarily remember what I was thinking. I just remember hearing it and thinking that everything was going to change, and that was, for a small kid, like pretty, oh man, I don't want to say traumatizing, because it wasn't really traumatizing, but it definitely left a lasting impact on me, knowing that, I don't know, that the family that everybody talks about, the kind of like, what is it called, the nuclear family? No, the mother, father, sister, brother.
Yeah.
It kind of like, it was weird going from hearing my parents fight every single night and going to my sister's room and just listening to them fight and screaming at each other, to having to go and spend 3 days with my mom, and then 4 days with my dad, and then 4 days with my mom, and then 3 days with my dad. It definitely brought just a light haze of sadness in my life. I never really thought about the divorce too much, unless people brought it up, but getting in depth and talking about it, I think this might be the first time that's happened since I was a small kid.
It's interesting to me because of all the other things that it kind of leads to, that being seeing your parents then start dating, perhaps get married, perhaps do those kinds of things, and introducing other families. And while I've experienced the other families, and it isn't easy, and yet it just seems like everybody has to deal with this at some point. This whole idea, talk about what you said about that nuclear family, that just doesn't, Ozzie and Harriet don't happen anymore. You probably don't even know who Ozzie and Harriet are.
Some 1930s maybe?
Yeah,
is it really? Harriet gave it away. The name Harriet really kind of nailed it right on the head.
Harriet's making a comeback, Gavin, I think.
Oh God, one can only hope. That name really makes me feel some type of way.
Yeah, I just think it's so interesting. And as now I'm a single person that meets women that have been divorced, and some with younger kids, some with older, but the whole idea of just how you go about doing that and get a life of normal again. I don't know what normal even is anymore as it relates to family and how that works and how that meshes. What do you think? What does that make you feel like as you consider perhaps marrying someday? Does it make you less likely to get married or more likely to get married?
Probably less, to be honest. But that's also me just being me, because I've been in a relationship where I was like head over heels. You know who it is. I'm not going to say it out loud. Yeah. But, and ever since then, I just, the cons kind of outweigh the pros, because I feel like a relationship, you never really know a person's true intentions until you're like fucking with them for years, and then you get to know who they really are and stuff like that. And I just feel like going into it, you're not really too invested, but as time goes on, when you get more invested, it's really hard to gauge a person's character before then. So I think it's just not worth the risk of getting let down after building up such an attachment to somebody. You know what I mean?
I do, but it's interesting to hear you talk about that, because in the beginning, it's all like it's rainbows and you're just you hold somebody's hand for the first time and you're super excited, and so it's interesting when these relationships that you kind of think that you found the right person, and you probably didn't, and I know this is stemming off of a divorce, because it makes it just more interesting now when you start to think about I had to see my dad after my mom died dating somebody else.
And that must have been very weird.
It's just a strange thing to see, and regardless,
Ooh,
I guess.
Don't say that word.
Sorry, regardless.
Ooh.
Regardless of how we get there, this whole idea of family just has this different connotation. Much of it certainly started by divorce, but it truly does become something that I still don't think marriage is a bad thing, and that whole idea of commitment. I just wonder why so many marriages in divorce. Is that because people just aren't willing to be unhappy, and maybe they were all unhappy before too, and they just were unwilling to make the
I can tell you why.
What is it?
It is because right now in this day and age, it is so easy to cheat. So easy to cheat. We live in the technology era, where you can do anything you want in 4 clicks or less. Anything you want. And that kind of freedom gets a lot of people in trouble. You really see people's, true personalities and how people really are.
And you're talking about not maybe physically cheating, but sending.
You can do whatever. You can set up times to meet up with a person. You can give them like emotional support and stuff like that through talking and and maybe getting a little raunchy, talking to people and doing stuff you shouldn't. There's so many different ways that you can cheat with technology nowadays. And
I agree.
And I was one of them. I cheated on the girl that I don't want to talk to, because I we broke up for like a week, 2 weeks. I broke up with her because she was acting crazy, which is what I thought, but she just cared and she saw me, doing shit I shouldn't, and so I started looking for other girls on dating websites, and when we got back together, I never really stopped talking to those girls. So it's just an emotional thing, Like I was telling these girls like how beautiful they were, and how I really can't wait to meet them one day, and it's doing that is just as bad as cheating, because you're investing your emotions into somebody else.
It's true, and I hadn't thought about that. When I talk to people that have been divorced, the most common things I hear are cheating, certainly infidelity. The others are addictions, though, whether it be to porn or to alcohol or to drugs of some kind, or to work. but you're right. I mean, I think that so much of it is it is a little easier to escape, and be able to jump out of the marriage and jump back into it. I don't know what that says about ethics, though. I mean, if you think about our last, certainly our last president, and there's been presidents throughout our history that have been accused of these kinds of things, be it Kennedy, Clinton, Trump. It's gone on, and it isn't just them. Men do this. Certainly, some women do it too. But that I think becomes very interesting too when I get to thinking about the kids. If the kids find out that's why you got divorced, how does your daughter ever look at you again and say because
they'll despise you. They're gonna resent you because they know that you were in the wrong and you're the reason why everything happened.
Yeah.
And
how,
go ahead.
And how do you ever look at that person again the same way? Although
you have to change. You have to show them that you have changed, and there is going to be nothing but time in between now and whenever you finally make that change, because no one can change in a day, in a month, even a year.
When you think about that, think about the different ages. I wonder,
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I wonder if it's any different for the generations about it. Is it the older generations were doing it too, but just in a more, maybe not leveraging technology? Because divorces were happening back then too. What is there anything generationally that is driving more divorces, or maybe there's just far less marriage now? I don't exactly know. I have one son that's married.
I don't know the statistics on that, but who knows?
Yeah.
We got 5 viewers now. Stephanie, probably changes your entire view of the relationships as a kid. Yeah, it really discourages you from, pursuing something, especially like seeing everything go downhill. But I mean,
is this a friend of yours?
Yeah, it's one of my friends, one of my mutual friends on TikTok. She's
cool.
Yeah, she's from Florida.
Nice. Well, it's a lot nicer in Florida, I'll tell you, than it is where I am in Chicago,
Yep.
and where you are in Salt Lake.
It's not too bad over here, actually. It was like 47 degrees, and I was out there with a short sleeve shirt on, some short shorts. My neighbors got to see my butt. It was real nice.
Yeah, you didn't wear those pink shorts, did you?
Oh no, they're pink and purple. I don't know. We might be, maybe. I own a lot of short shorts.
Did they start off that way, or did you just buy those when you were younger?
No, when I didn't start wearing short shorts until I was confident. It's 80 degrees in Florida, by the way, Kyle. I didn't start wearing short shorts until I was in college, because when I was in high school, I was so traumatized from growing up in Long Beach and being an Asian kid, and everyone around me was like a gangbanger and shit, and so everyone was sagging their pants. But once I discovered the comfort of short shorts and why my dad was wearing them every day, I started embracing them, and I would say that was
your dad was wearing short shorts?
You've seen my dad wearing short shorts. My dad wears short shorts. Oh my god. My dad is the captain and CEO of Short Shorts Incorporated.
And short shorts are like those old Larry Bird jerseys that are they're right.
Be anything. You can grab a normal pair of shorts and hike them up past your belly button. They're short shorts, and it's free.
Really?
Yep.
Are you wearing short shorts right now? I'm a little.
I am. The short shorts are called underwear, so there will not be any standing up anytime soon.
So that's a whole discussion about clothes these days, and people in with all this COVID stuff, the way people are dressing now. I have not worn. I used to wear a suit all the time. I have not put a suit on in maybe once in the last year. I put a suit on. And people don't wear suits anymore, though, I guess.
Well, I mean, last November you wore a suit. Or wait. Yeah.
2 Novembers ago.
No, that was... Oh, no. 2 Novembers ago, that's right.
Yeah.
Before the Rona.
Yeah, 2 Novembers ago I wore a suit, and I've worn a suit since then, but there's no, I think I've worn a suit to go to dinner once or twice. Like, do you even own a suit, Gavin?
I own one suit and a couple pairs of slacks and a couple dress shirts, but I'm actually in the market to... I really actually don't have a choice, but I have to buy a suit within the next month because I'm going to be the one of the groomsmen at my buddy's wedding, and me and my buddy are getting slim fit suits. So I've been trying to lose weight.
Hopefully he'll watch this thing, and that's nice when young. He's your age, getting married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's pretty much exactly my age.
And he's getting married in Salt Lake.
Well, it's technically South Weber, but
South Weber.
It's a beautiful area, but it's got this big kind of like gymnasium kind of thing, but it's got like a balcony and like it's perfect for a wedding and reception.
How many of your friends are still in Southern California from where you grew up versus
like how many friends do I still have there?
I'm amazed at how many people I see on Facebook that are my age, and I'm 53, still live in Southern California. I'm certainly in the minority. The biggest majority, I guess most people don't want to leave Southern California, but 85% still live in SoCal. That's
because the market's going to stay the same out there consistently, just because the weather's never going to change. It's always going to be beautiful in California. There's never going to be a time where everyone's escaping and everyone's literally leaving and the market tanks because of it.
There's lots of people that are leaving California. Right?
There's lots, but the market's not going to... The market will crash because of how inflated it was because of COVID. That's the only reason I think.
I'm not talking about the market. I'm talking about why it's interesting why people stay where they're at and not leave.
I'm saying it's because the housing is so expensive up there and the weather's beautiful and they don't want to leave and go to a place where it snows or it's humid all the time because then they're going to be uncomfortable. And they like going out and getting their fucking tapas and, drinking their wine outside. There's people that can't give that up, so they won't go to a place where it snows during the winter or where it's fucking 103 degrees with 98% humidity.
Yeah. I look, I don't... Chicago, walking, it's cold now. I mean, I walked to work in the city, and I was knee deep in snow walking to work. It's not for everybody. I enjoy the seasons, but
I think the snow makes it beautiful. But
yeah, it sucks when the restaurants aren't open though. So hopefully the restaurants will get going. What are the restaurants doing with you?
Oh, we're all open, baby. We're all open everywhere.
Do you go out or do you cook?
No, I DoorDash. I DoorDash and I spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars every couple of months on DoorDash because I don't like going out and going shopping and all that stuff just because I don't know if you know this, my roommate's only got one lung. So it's the risk of COVID is...
COVID. So does he work?
He works, but we're both pretty secluded. He cleans out like mines, and he's alone in the mines, just like power washing, and then me at FedEx.
Damn.
I don't really have too much customer interaction. If I do, we social distance.
Have you met? We just reached today, Gavin. I don't know if you saw this. 500,000 deaths now associated with COVID. Did you see that? 500,000.
Is that nation or global or?
Just United States. Certainly a lot more globally, but 500,000. There was talk, I don't know, probably, if you look back this time last year, we didn't even know how bad this was going to be right at this time. It was just
it was going to be another Ebola. Well, actually, no, it hadn't even kicked off. It kicked off in the middle of March, didn't it? We heard about COVID, and we're like, it's another Ebola. Nothing's going to happen, and then the nation shut down, and that's when shit changed. So
500,000 people died. Now I know there's some controversy about
the numbers,
really cause of death and how that's being done, whether it be New York or whatever. But do you have any any thoughts as a young person, a young healthy person? Do you have any?
Well, I got thoughts. I got conspiracies. I got them all, Kyle. I
want to hear conspiracy. Sounds like someone I know.
Right in the beginning of March, we were all clueless. Yeah, it really kicked back once they quarantined everybody. That was nuts. When celebrities are talking about it, it's real. But what was the question again, Kyle? I was answering a comment.
As a young person, what are you thinking about? As a young person who's not in the risk category, doesn't mean there haven't been people that have died that are in their 20s, but not very many.
I think that Big Pharma could be playing a part in the numbers just because they want to create a safety net. Like they're the safety net, like they've got the medicine, they've got everything that you need to be healthy and stuff like that. That's more of the conspiracy side of things, but I think that, man, that's a tough one. That's kind of like my view, is I feel like they were fudging the numbers to get more financial aid from the government to kind of push what they wanted to push. But that's like the elitists everywhere. I feel like money, they're willing to do anything for more money.
If I had the opportunity to get a vaccination today, even though I'm 53 and healthy, I'd probably say no, not until everybody else gets it. But I would get it done.
I need to get it done immediately.
You'll get it done because of your roommate, because of your living situation.
Yep.
Yeah, and I know people my age that have gotten it done. I hear that the second shot is a killer. I mean, it really makes you feel like crap. But it's
have you gotten a shot of penicillin before?
I'm sure I have. Can't say that I remember any of that.
Feels like they're injecting peanut butter into your butt, like a thick, non-chunky but thick peanut butter right in your butt.
I've never had peanut butter in my butt, so I wouldn't know what that felt like.
Yeah, violating.
Do you care to? I mean, is there something generally?
I have trachea. Let me look up the scientific term for it. I believe it's tracheophobia. I have a severe, traumatizing, fear of needles. I can't look at them, not even in movies. I can't watch someone get stuck with a needle. I can't even look at a needle. I'll go like this.
I thought you were going to say you had a fear of chunky peanut butter, but that's not what you're afraid of.
No. Fear of needles.
So you don't go get a flu shot?
Trypanophobia. Trypanophobia. Any shot, any needles, blood tests, anything. Can't stand it. But I will be the first in line for a COVID shot.
And when is it available for you?
I'm not high risk, so probably not until a couple more months.
Okay, I got the feeling. I thought because of your roommate, you were going to get that you had access to it or something like that.
He would probably be eligible. He would probably be eligible for it, but I don't think I would. I am technically front lines though in FedEx, but
yeah.
By the way, I don't know, Kyle. You can reply to these comments as well if you're looking. If you still got it open on your phone, you can see the comments as they're.
Oh, I see it now. 80 degrees.
Yeah. 80 degrees must be nice, but it's probably like 525% humidity.
Although I will say that we got some pictures from Sacramento this weekend, and it looked pretty darn warm there too.
It's California, baby.
Yeah, California, baby.
Yep.
I would go back on a bet.
You wouldn't?
No. I wouldn't go. The traffic just drives me crazy when I go out there. It just drives me absolutely nuts.
Yeah. I don't know. I just... I love the beach. I miss the beach. That's the one thing. Otherwise, I'm a mountain man. I love Utah. Like, it's beautiful here. There's off-roading, there's camping, there's hiking. We got it all. It's beautiful.
You came close to going back to California this year, didn't you?
Yeah, we won't talk about that on stream though. That's more recent. So,
okay.
Yeah. But it was a thought.
About that.
No. Just everybody's got to go through struggles with roommates.
So what else do we want to talk about, Gavin, as we play through this? What's something that's on your mind?
I don't know. Why don't we ask some of the commenters or people that are watching? We got 5 people watching, so guys, if you got any topics, Kyle, you could probably research the next one if you want to look up something. I am always open for discussion on anything though, except for living situations, current living situations.
I really don't. I just knew you were going to move, and that's all. I didn't know much more else about that. But you would go back to California, even that you have family that lives there. You'd go back to California. And
that's the only reason I would, because I have family there, and some of my closest friends are there. But that's the only real reason I would go. Let's see if we can't get some more viewers in here.
I wonder what what's because California, another crappy thing about it, they are the only state in the union that isn't opening up sports for kids. Theirs is still shut down, and they've opened up nothing. And yet the weather is obviously nicer. They can be outside, and yet California isn't allowing it. And as I understand it, the numbers in California are bad. So whatever they're doing is not even helping.
Yeah.
It means that people are still out and about. And I've been to California a couple of times out in Riverside County, and they allowed us to be in restaurants.
Well, that's just money-hungry people. Like, they can't afford, they'll lose their business, so they break the law. Well, it's not it's a mandate, right? It was a mandate. I don't know if that's law that could be punishable, but
in certain counties, because some of the counties are allowing it and some are not.
Right.
Or they're opening up and against the law. But I got the feeling out in Riverside County it was legal.
I'm not too sure. It's kind of changing. I think it's the mayor is just kind of wishy-washy. Gavin Newsom is. Or the governor, yeah. And then also mayors probably are able to change some rules too about opening businesses and stuff like that. But I know the mayor was
certainly been outspoken and.
Oh yeah, well he's been partying and stuff like that, and he's kind of a hypocrite, but that's a different topic.
Well, there's a lot of people that are, they want to shut down for the greater good, but they still want to go to their Thanksgiving parties and their dinner outings and what have you. I totally get that. Totally get it. So Gav, why don't we? You and I are gonna work on this. This was fun. I'm thinking, unless you have other topics that we should.
Well, did anyone comment? Because it seems like there's other people joining. So.
Okay.
Maybe we can do it for a little longer.
You bet.
Did you see? I'm not on YouTube right now. I'm just kind of replying to messages on other social media sites. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm just looking out at the live chat and don't see anything necessarily coming in.
Oh. People, feel free to comment. Otherwise, let's see. What is recent that we could talk about? Oh my gosh. There is something I want to talk about. Have you seen the girl who is suing Gorilla Glue for not mentioning on their product that they shouldn't put it in their hair?
No.
Oh my god.
No.
Let me pull up this article and blow your fucking mind.
I don't know what to make of that from a generation standpoint, other than that it reminds you of the whole McDonald's lawsuit about that somebody that the cup didn't say that the coffee was hot and burned themselves. And
yeah, that was like almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's just so, it seems so stupid.
What happened? Last week, a 40-year-old Tessica Brown of Louisiana revealed on social media that a month ago, she ran out of her trusty got-to-be glued blasting free spray, a hairspray so strong, Pauly D and his immovable coif vouched for it. When Brown hit empty, she decided to seal her style with Gorilla Glue Spray Advanced Adhesive. Instead, a permanent, moisture-resistant, heavy-duty adhesive meant for fabric, paper, wood, plastic, cardboard, foam, and metal, and more. Unfortunately, Brown learned that hair on a human head is not included in and more. In the past month, she washed her hair, which is permanently stuck in a ponytail, 15 times, and it is stiff as ever. In another video, Brown slathers some Pantene shampoo, which simply sits on the surface of her scalp, despite vigorous rubbing before being swiped away to reveal even glossier and more hardened hair that hasn't budged. And she is suing Gorilla Glue because it wasn't mentioned on there that they shouldn't put Gorilla Glue in their hair to set their hair.
And I am guessing that she won't win.
Probably not. I think the second you mention skin, hair should be included in that. Anything corrosive or sticky, it typically mentions something about avoiding skin. Like super glue, it should be included that, if it sticks, your hair's probably not gonna, Maybe that's just me thinking too much, though. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know if stupid can be something you can defend, right? I mean, that seems pretty stupid.
Yeah.
These frivolous lawsuits, but she is going to try the lawsuit. I hadn't heard that. I think it's
there could be a loophole in the system that it needs to mention it specifically, and if she gets a good lawyer, she could possibly win, but chances are she's probably not going to, unless she's raising money through a GoFundMe or something like that. But who knows? It was a big topic for a while. We have 7 viewers now, Kyle, so
You're really making it happen, Gav.
Yeah, this is the most I've had on a live stream. Guys, if you're listening to this, we are open to discussion. I don't know how much longer Kyle has, but if Kyle can go a little bit longer, we can.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. We are kicking around the idea. I don't get to spend nearly as much time with Gavin as I'd like to. I have a great amount of respect for him, and we got to talking about just being men in these days and generationally, how we think of things differently and how we think of them the same. And so we got to thinking, what a fun thing to do, to maybe have some discussions and obviously take some time to think about what's on people's minds and chat about how different ages think of different things. But certainly, I would like to think that every generation would think that putting super glue in your head is Gorilla Glue in your head is pretty stupid.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, although if you really need to hold down your toupee, I guess that would be a good thing to do.
Yeah. If you didn't plan on removing it from your head anytime soon.
That's right. If you never wanted to take it off, then I think that might be the loophole.
Could be.
Maybe.
Let's see. She did raise money on a GoFundMe, $23,000. If you're seeing that comment, Kyle.
Are you kidding me, Candace? $23,000? I don't know that I'm believing this.
It could be.
I think that might be a hoax.
She uses Gorilla Glue to fix broken nails. That is innovation right there. Who needs to go to a nail shop when you got Gorilla Glue? Use the clear one, not the black one. Nothing against black Gorilla Glue.
Candace is using it for a very valid reason, it would sound like, though. I don't know that. I don't know. Strange.
All right, Kyle. I got a generational topic. She said she said she donated 20,000 of it. She didn't donate 20,000 of it. She pocketed that. She pocketed that. She's saying she donated it for tax purposes. So, as a new-ish grandfather, how do you feel like that has affected your life as as a man who has grown from son to father to now grandfather, how do you feel any different? Do you feel like you have more responsibility now, or as you drink your beer?
Yeah, I don't feel any different because I've only been able to see her once because of the pandemic. But I will say this: in my younger days, there certainly have been behaviors that I didn't behave in a way that was probably perfect for a father. Certainly isn't for a grandfather. I think that whole idea about acting like a grandfather, I don't know that I've quite figured it out. I know that I'm excited. This beautiful girl is, I mean, she's beautiful, and I think that the parents my son and daughter-in-law are doing a tremendous job raising her. She's almost 1, but it hasn't changed me necessarily. I get to go see her again before she turns 1, but I like to think that maybe that's just age, though. It's making you behave in a little bit more responsible manner than when I was 20, 30, 40. But yeah, it's neat to think about, because I don't feel older because I'm a grandparent.
You should. I'm kidding.
It does come. I will tell you, having lost, when you lose it. My mom died at 46. She never got to be a grandparent. So, yeah, I mean, it's a neat thing. Then you just hope, based on our first topic, you hope that, for the health of the baby and the health of the marriage and the health of all involved. They're off to a great start, though, and I'm excited. I'm excited to be a grandpa.
Nice. Your I don't know if you saw, your brother just messaged in the group chat. He can't figure out how to comment and was trying to comment on YouTube. I told him to ask one of his kids. And did you see the text? I think it was in the group with you. It should have just popped up.
That's funny. I will look and see what
chat any topics. We will talk about literally anything. You guys can just poop out answers in the comment section. Hopefully you can figure out how to comment. It's a little unfortunate my uncle doesn't know how to do that yet, but we're figuring it out. We're trying to coach him on it. So if you guys have anything any current discussions, any controversial topics, we're discussing this as a generational line. Kyle being the Generation X, me being Generation Y. Eventually, we're going to bring people on from Generation Z. Hopefully, some boomers. Maybe we can get some baby boomers in here. Maybe one day we can set up an interview with Grandpa. That would be cool if we could do that, Uncle Kyle. If we could talk to Grandpa and get some of his opinions, or even have him share his story. I know me and Garrett and Creighton and Ryan have been trying to. We have 8 viewers now, Kyle. This is that's. But
I do think that Gavin, this is the coolest thing about what you're saying that makes sense is that I think that one thing that does go on too much in this world, it's important to be. Men need to be men of character for their kids, for their friends, for their families, and I think the way we started this thing off when you talked about that it's so easy to cheat. That's not. It's sad that you say that, but I think that this whole idea of trying to be men of character in this day and age, regardless of whether you have kids or not, it whatever color your skin or not, it is. Morality and all these things are pretty important, and it's interesting, and I think that we have an obligation to be better or as good as we can be, and not allow ourselves to cut corners and do things of that nature. And I know you and I have chatted about those kind of things in our past when we have our serious conversations of life. It's it's good, and we certainly have very strong men in our lives, and been very, very lucky. Good role models. You have them in your father, and have them in different aspects of your life, and it's important.
Yeah, I think so too.
So we'll figure this out. We'll see if we have fun with this thing. I know I think there's lots of things that there's lots of topics that and maybe it's with COVID, you just don't get the opportunities to have as many day-to-day conversations with colleagues at work. I know, Gavin, you still get to see your colleagues at work, but then you spend a lot of time on your own in the car. So
Kent is requesting from text message because he has to make a YouTube account and he's just not willing to do that. He's saying talk about the government discussion taking place about paying college debt. I think that's one of Biden's one of the things that he said he was going to take care of was college debt.
It really wasn't what Biden had promised. It was a lot of the Democratic other people running were pushing for it. But I will say this: it makes absolutely no sense to me why we would do debt. But I know one thing that does make sense to me. If you can make it a low interest rate, whatever it costs to service the loan, you have to pay people to collect it, administer it, do all this stuff.
Nothing is free.
I'd have no problem with them saying, okay, the cost of managing that debt is 2% and charge people 2%. Fine, that makes sense to me. But zero or not having to pay it back is stupid. Because think about this. In anything in life, if you give it away for free, you're going to take more than you really need. Or you're going to go to school and not really, and just...
Not focus. Yeah, exactly. You're gonna throw your time there because you're like, what really do I have to lose? If I succeed, I succeed. But if I don't, I'm not really losing anything. There's no incentive. You almost have to incentivize education. I would say so.
I'd have no problem with low interest loans, whatever the cost of the loan is.
As long as there's something, it's not risk free. Because if it's risk free, yeah.
You gotta pay it back.
Absolutely.
If you end up going to college for the right reason because you end up with a better job, great. But and by the way, college isn't for everybody. Holy heck, there's trades that are really needed in this country to do well. To be able to do well, to lay tile or to do the different things in life that require plumbing. You can name a number of different things in construction. That's a talent.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Mordendahl, welcome to the chat. Let us know if you have any topics that would like to be discussed.
What do you think, Gav?
Sorry, run that by me one more time. I was looking at the...
What is your thought on college and tuition? The question that
we agree.
Williams, Sacramento.
Kent, thank you. That's a great question. My opinion on it is I believe that if you are going to go to college and there is absolutely no risk of you losing any money or losing out on anything, and it's just free to go, I think more people are going to take opportunity to do that. I think more people are going to go to college. In turn, I think more people are going to fail and flunk out of college, which I think is going to be a gigantic waste of money because college professors do make quite a bit of money, I would say. Maybe they deserve more, but still they do make a lot of money, but they did go to school for it, so I get that. But I don't think that it should be free because I don't feel like you will take it as seriously as if something were on the line. So I just feel like there would be a lot more failures and yeah.
Kent's got another question that's of interest, knowing that you and your
What's up, Doorstop 2015? Welcome to the chat. Let us know if you have any topics that you would like to discuss as an interesting name.
You're vaping, Gavin. There's also lots of conjecture about getting rid of the flavored things because that becomes a a connection to kids, to making like candy.
Yeah, like Skittles flavors and stuff like that. Yeah.
What do you think about that? Do you think that should be outlawed? It sounds like another thing that California is really big on knocking down. I would assume some more of the liberal states might be pushing that a little bit more. Now, all said, I've never vaped before. I had a mom that smoked, and it's not very good for you, so it's never been the right thing for me. But what about the flavored vapes and saying, well, you just can't do flavored vapes?
So my opinion on vapes, of course, I do vape, but I used to smoke cigarettes. I don't know if you remember when I smoked cigarettes. I started smoking cigarettes when I was like 17 or 18 though, and I wasn't doing it too much. But you remember, I was a kind of the black sheep of the family. I was a late bloomer when it came to maturity and doing stuff that wasn't so detrimental to my health. But yeah, up until maybe about 2 years ago, I was smoking like a pack a week, and I haven't smoked a cigarette in almost a year now because I've been smoking a vape. The studies on it are still iffy because people have died, but there was also stuff that went wrong with the certain vapes. So it's a hit and miss topic, and I think we'll find out further down the line with people, this new generation coming up, if it really impacts your health in the long run.
Do you feel like you're addicted to the vaping?
Yeah, I would say so. I say it's the nicotine though, because nicotine is an addictive chemical. So
yeah,
but I would rather be addicted to something that I know doesn't have rat poison and tar in it than molasses and salt or whatever the fuck's.
Let me write that down. So you'd rather be not rat poison and what?
And tar.
But you're all into syrup and
and I think it's a molasses base. I'm not too sure. All I know is
outlawing the flavored things makes no sense. Their thought is that it'll be less attractive to kids.
I didn't even get to that point. I apologize. That my view on that is, I do think that they should maybe. Well, okay. So there's adults that like fruity flavors. Like I know a handful of them that like fruity flavors. Currently, I'm smoking watermelon menthol, but the only thing that I prefer is menthol. If it was to just go to flavorless, I would smoke menthol just because that's what I've smoked my entire life. Adult life, I guess. But I feel like it definitely could impact kids. I just think that kids are going to find a way to do stuff that they're not supposed to do, whether it's weed, alcohol, vape. It's a rebellious stage. Every kid wants to be older and every adult wants to be a kid. Like it's tales all the time.
And I don't know if this is generational, or maybe I would have felt. I think I probably felt the same way when I was your age, because I just don't get the whole need for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The vaping. If it's doing.
Was that your ringtone? Was your ringtone a duck?
Yeah. Well, it's a special duck for a special brother up in Sacramento. Everybody's got their own ringtone in my family.
You can't call Kyle during the live stream. By the way, we have 9 people watching. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Let us know what topics you would like to be covered. Go ahead, Kyle. My bad.
By the way, I'm being told that menthol is a flavor that is going to be banned. Menthol.
Boy, I wish they would. I will be out there picketing with those people, because if they get rid of menthol and they only have cigarette-flavored fucking... Whoo! I'm going to be a little ticked off. I'm going to buy in bulk now. That's what I'm going to do, because I don't want to be smoking something that tastes like a fucking Marlboro. I'm just not going to do it.
So, do all your buds smoke too?
Vape?
Yeah.
That's
not the right thing to say. I'm supposed to call it vaping. I can't call it smoking. It's vaping.
Smoking is yeah, it could be one of two things when you say that.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I would say a lot of my friends do it, but again, cigarettes are just absolutely horrible for you. And I know that a lot of them are doing it because they created that addiction within themselves by smoking cigarettes, and now we have the problem of needing to fill that kind of void.
Right. Where do you, I mean, you get these things at all over the place, and Utah is just as easy to get them?
Yeah, but we have restrictions. We're at 0.25% nicotine is our max. It goes up to a 0.5, which is what I was smoking, and now I'm at a 0.25, which is good because I've been trying to lower my nicotine level, but I get a little antsy if I don't have it. So there's definitely side effects.
Are you allowed to vape at work?
No, but I do it anyway. Everybody, all my employees pretty much vape. Everyone vapes in their truck. It doesn't really leave a residual smell like cigarettes do, and marijuana.
Yeah. What other topics, Gavin? Anything else?
We got 9 people in here who don't want to talk. So, guys,
that's good. Thanks for at least listening. Hopefully you guys will have topics that you want. And the idea that Gavin and I are trying to do is to have some fun with this. Again, the premise was this gives Gavin and I a chance to hang out. We enjoy challenging each other on things, and this is our first time doing it in this venue, but we're having fun with it. Our goal was this is a good chance for us to get together, have a couple beers, and shoot the shit and talk about things of interest. And if we could grow it into other people contributing and participating, that's great.
2 comments I need to address. One from Doorstop 2015. Vapes don't stain walls. You are right about that. They do not. They don't have that kind of, I don't know what it is. Tobacco, I think, is what is the leading thing that causes that smoke stain on walls. I think it's a tobacco. And the other comment was from my mother. Who's the bear in your background? I bought this for Valentine's Day maybe 2 years ago for a girl. For a girl who was kind of being, we'll say, mean to me on Snapchat. Who got the boot right before Valentine's Day. So I kind of hung on to the bear. So yeah, he's my bear. He's my Valentine's bear. And
why don't you give it to your mother?
Why don't I give it to my mom?
Yeah.
Because she doesn't. She's not out here. Maybe I'll give it to her when she visits. Her and her Cutco knife.
Yeah, when she comes, she might just end up putting it into a bag. She's been known to collect some things. She
likes bears. My mother loves bears. I'll probably end up giving it to her if she wants it because it's kind of just sitting there next to Pikachu, Pongo, and Boo from Super Mario Brothers. I think also the Cheshire Cat is right there in the armpit, just above my finger. I also have a box in the basement full of stuffed animals. I don't know why. I just love stuffed animals.
It must be generational.
It's got to be. You found
my son was all into the Pooh characters.
Winnie the Pooh. Oh yeah, G-Man. You found the knife. No, Mom, I didn't find the knife. You're missing scissors, Mother. You're not missing the knife. You're missing scissors. And I have them. Right somewhere that way. I don't know if we got a request for a topic.
Okay.
I don't know if you could see it. I don't know if you guys talked about how do you feel about the federal minimum wage going up to $15? That is a huge topic that we haven't talked about. Kyle, why don't you lead us off?
Doesn't make much sense to me. Every state is different. You think of so like West Virginia, for instance. I think it's really hard to mandate. Having minimum number or minimum payment is just as silly as maximum payment to me. I do think, though, that it does point out the importance of bringing value to work and unemployment is going to become low again. But as soon as you tell employers what they have to pay, that sets the stage for not hiring a certain amount of people as well. And so I think there's some danger in doing it. I think it's weird that Amazon now is coming out and saying they're doing it. Good for them.
Mute your phone, Kyle.
What?
Put your phone on vibrate. That they're using the group text as a way of communicating.
Amazon is different, certainly, than the small company in Mississippi or West Virginia, and I just don't think that it makes sense to have federal standards when state standards make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
What do you think, Gav?
As somebody who works for a private contractor who has openly told us that we will not be getting pay raises if the federal minimum wage goes up to $15, it frustrates me a little bit because I've worked my ass off to get to where I am currently, and I feel like us raising that minimum wage would be almost taking away from people who aren't going to be receiving an increase in pay, people who've worked really hard to get to where they're at. And I'm a manager at FedEx for a private contractor that represents FedEx, so I'm not making abhorrent amounts of money. I don't know if abhorrent would be the right word for that, but I'm not making an obscene amount of money. I'm making living wages, and I'm able to survive comfortably. But I feel like raising the minimum wage would bring a lot of prices on everyday items that we wouldn't think would go up in price. I would think that would skyrocket those and make it harder for people to actually live. I think you'd maybe be able to afford more rent for the time being until the housing market finally caught up with the minimum wage rising, and then people would be charging more money. So I think everything would just go up, and in the long run, the government would be making more money because they'd be able to tax more and collect more money from you making more money. They'd be able to tax the bigger businesses that are, paying their employees more money. And I think everyone loses except for the government and people who are at entry-level positions. And I don't know. I just think it would kind of screw everything over.
Yeah. I get it, though. I mean, the whole idea of people... we don't want homeless people, right? We want people to be able to afford to put a roof over their shoulder. I just think it's hard when you do that at the federal level, like anything else.
I think that they should just create more low-income housing in areas that are a little more affluent, and but in doing so, you create... Oh man, how do I put this and not sound fucked up? It's not an inner city kind of thing, but you could be creating an environment that would not be profitable from a real estate standpoint, and smart for creating an area of lower income. I don't know. I feel like right now there's a lot of gentrifying going on, and people aren't really in the mindset of creating more housing for lower income. I think everybody's trying to build value in areas of lower income.
Yeah, you running into something, Gavin, that becomes really tough there, because if you just bought a house for $500,000 or $350,000, and now you have somebody that wants to come in and put low income housing kind of there, you're going to be saying, wait a second, that's going to potentially lower the value of my home. So it's a very tough thing. I mean, I think the idea, though, of affordable housing is important. There was a book that I read in college called Rachel and Her Children. It was really quite good to try to help people team up and to become kind of in partnership with one another to try to figure it out through meeting friends and helping each other. And I think there is something to that. It's such a... I think, though, that like most issues, it's not black and white. And when you just say make the $15 minimum wage, it's not likely to end up on this COVID bill that DC is going to be introducing finally, because there's just not enough senators that'll support it. So it's not going to win.
Yeah. Okay.
I know that there's another question, Gavin, about about
Mandatory.
mandatory COVID tests to board a plane.
So, do you want me to tackle this, or are you going to go ahead?
Well, I'll give you my initial thing. I think here's the interesting dichotomy. I don't love it. I just flew this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love the idea except for this. Now that we're back to a place where amnesty and our borders, the thought of bringing the borders open up again, it makes me think.
Fingers crossed for that.
I mean, I think it's a great thing to have immigration. I do, but immigration that makes sense and not just. And I don't think that any Democrats really say open borders. I think it becomes a political thing that people say. But should we be testing these people when they come in? Yeah, we probably should. And in a very light way, getting on an airplane.
So
would it be safe if we did it? Yeah, but I don't know how you do it.
Okay, so I don't. From an immigration standpoint, I feel like.
Unlike things, I understand, but
from an immigration, no, I don't. To be honest, illegal immigration is one of those things. It's really controversial and it's very hard to talk about. But I believe that if you are willing to change your life for the better, you would be willing to jump through any loophole and do anything necessary to make that dream come true. That being said, I feel like there's a right way and a wrong way to go about immigrating into another country, and I know that it takes time, and I know that there's a lot of stipulations that go into it, but just for the safety of it and just not having to worry about getting deported and being separated from your family, I just feel like you should be inspired to go that extra step and do whatever is in your power to be able to do something like that for your family. But for COVID testing on planes, I also think that we should have that, because the proximity that you are from somebody is only relative to you being not in a confined space with them. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, when you're outdoors and you're 6 feet away from someone, yeah, there's really no way that you can really transmit it because it's just going up into the atmosphere. But if you're in a plane that is airlocked and is pressurized and everything that's in there is just kind of staying in there, I feel like there's a lot more opportunity to contract the virus, and in doing so, you're traveling, so you're bringing it to more places. And I feel like a COVID test, I've had a COVID test. People that are complaining about a nose swab, mother, I hope it's not you. I hope it's not you. Please say it's not you. COVID tests aren't bad. It's an uncomfortable process that takes 30 seconds, but it's preventing death. So that's my 2 cents on it. I think we should take every precaution that we can to stop the spread of virus. People can say it's bullshit or not. There are people that I know personally who have gotten COVID that have gotten very sick. My manager, my friends. So it's something that we need to start taking seriously, because there's people that would be living happy lives right now if COVID wasn't around that are unfortunately going to die from it. And it's because of preventable shit that we can handle. That's my opinion on that. What do you think about that, Kyle?
I don't really have disagreement. If the technology's there, if it starts to delay flights by an extra hour or two, because unfortunately it would, that becomes a problem. So now people need to show up 3 hours before a flight, and I don't. But I think you're right. I hope that what happens though is that we get to some kind of herd immunization here within by summertime, where we get to 75% of the population has been immunized, and in so doing, then we get to a place where it's less of an issue. But
I think it's going to be an issue for the next couple of years for sure.
I just think that, Gavin, people are not going to put up with having to show up 3 hours to wait in lines to get in, and already the airline industry is super important to our economy.
Mm-hmm.
And if we make it so that You now need to show up 3 hours before, maybe 4 hours before, wait for your test results before you get on a plane. You're already in the airport by now. I don't know if this is true or not, but I do know that when you go into an airport, the bars are crowded. People are sitting around at the bars, and it may be more dangerous to be in the bar with people, and because people don't have their masks on then.
Well, any type of group gathering is going to be dangerous.
But in the airplanes, people are wearing their masks. Like I said, I flew today. Everybody's keeping their masks on.
You don't see the people who are taking it off and waiting for. Because I've been on 3 flights, maybe 4 since COVID happened, and I've seen my fair share of people who are taking their masks down and breathing. Because I'll do it too. Sometimes when it's hot in the cabin and the heat or the cold air just didn't do anything for me. It's probably not too relevant now because it's colder, but when I was up there, it just felt like it was hot. I don't know if it was the amount of bodies in there, but like you want to take your mask down because you're sweating and you're breathing, and all it takes is for you to do that. And if you have it, you got it. Because the masks are only meant to prevent you from spreading the virus. That doesn't stop the virus from getting to you.
Well, there's different talks about that. Now that's all that discussion about a second mask, that it can help stop it from getting to you too. There's lots of new thoughts coming out in that area. Gavin, I don't know if you saw this, but a generational difference in the role of government and what they should provide. What is government for us? When I grew up, it was far more a discussion of they're supposed to protect us, from outside interference. Most
that's what they wanted you to think, so that way you wouldn't question things that they're doing, and it would always be for your protection. So they would always have your best interest in mind, which made you feel more comfortable. But in reality, there's a lot of things that go on that,
Well, the question though is, what should government do? Let's assume for a moment that that's all government did, and that really their job was to stay out of our lives, to stay out of our bedrooms, to stay out of our everything that we do, versus coming in now and saying this is what you have to do, or this is what you can't do, and this is what we're going to take away from you, or this is what we're going to give everybody. All those things, and we can. Different things pop into your head about what government wants to take away, what they want to give, what they want to allow, what they want to support, what they want to. What do you expect from government? Not what your opinions are. What do you expect of government?
I expect the government to fund the proper organizations the way that they say they fund them. The police, medical personnel, and I believe some, other federal jobs. I believe that they should fund them properly. Besides that fact, I think the government should only collect fundings for an appropriate amount of money for a salary for government workers, and the rest should be allotted to the proper personnel. But I feel like the government's taking too much off the top with projects that they keep saying are gonna be underway and stuff like that, but a lot of these projects don't see the true amount of money that the government's taking out and allotting to it, and I don't know where that money is going. But we'll just say, for example, I don't know how much money was taken out for the Trump wall, but I only know that there's maybe like a mile coverage or something like that was taken out of taxpayer money that really doesn't do anything to solve the border issue that we're having with Mexico. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of the bigger people on top that regulate the spending, and I feel like it's not going to the proper places. That's my thing on that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of political corruption. I believe that. I believe that there's a lot of political corruption. Once you have so much power and so much money, you just, you make things, you try to make the world perfect in your own eyes. You get really selfish with it. So
yeah, I was just trying to follow your line of reasoning, though, because everybody that pushes for a certain amount of funding is doing it because they think that their issue is the most important or a most important thing. And so when you go down that rabbit hole, that's why.
But our money doesn't go in from our taxes for these specific purposes. It's just a portion of it. You know what I mean? Right?
Well, yeah, and that's what Congress is supposed to be doing, to creating the allocations of said things, right? And it does seem, no matter what, when they put these budgets together, there are these kind of poor projects that get thrown into programs for, the very famous Bridge to Nowhere in Alaska that came out in 2008, 2009, whatever that election was that Palin got accused of. But that kind of stuff goes on all the time. But all that money somebody is getting a job from it, somebody's making money on it, and it's helping somebody in all these cases. So I think the question was interesting, because what is it that we expect from government? I don't know who's to say what.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Who's to say what's important and what's not, I guess.
Yeah, I just feel like the responsibility of the government is to pay the proper people and get the job done, whatever it is. If there's something that gets passed that's pushed by the people and helps the people out, then I feel like their job would be to enact that policy, and I don't know. I feel like that would be it.
If you think back to I was born in the late 60s. Do you have any historic kind of knowledge of the time I was born that you wish you could have been a part of, that was something that I got to experience, that maybe you heard about from your mom or from your dad, that you think, gosh, that would have been cool if I could have been in that, experienced that? Anything jump out at you?
From the 60s?
No, I mean, I was born in the late 60s, but any stories you heard from your parents about, hey, when I was a kid, we used to do this. Like, I'll tell you something that you maybe never done before, and I just think of something silly like this, but we used to wash our cars and we'd drink water out of the hose. People don't do that anymore.
I used to drink water out of the hose. Yeah.
Okay, so you did. That was just something dumb that popped into my head.
You think when me and your kids were riding around on bicycles and, going and hitting baseballs all over the place and running around, we had a real wholesome childhood without smartphones. I don't know, the 90s and the early 2000s were lacking in the technology that we currently have today. So I would say we were the last generation with a wholesome, true to nature kind of childhood.
So you think that you had something far more similar to what I might have had.
Maybe without video games. We had some video games, but the technology just wasn't there for the world that we live in, where people are consistently glued to their phones and technology. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm staring at a screen for 90% of my life, and it's almost like a mind control,
Yeah. Fun. I mean, it is true. I know that my kids were out there too. I mean, they were out playing on their scooters and doing all that. I just don't. And I live in the city now, though, so I don't see that as much. But once it starts to get warm, I remember living in Kansas City. It was so cool that you wouldn't see any kids, but as soon as the weather started, there were kids out playing. But you're right, too many of them are sitting behind a screen. But that's kind of gets back to what we talked about. You need moms and dads to be able to, spend time with their kids and not just put them in front of a TV.
Yeah, I completely agree.
This was fun, Gav.
This was, yeah. I think we should, probably wrap it up. Kyle, any last minute thoughts on the podcast?
No, I love that we're trying this. We will talk more about it, and maybe I hope do it again. It was a lot of fun. I think this kind of stuff is It's cool to get your mind thinking about things, and I appreciate the people that ask questions. I know some of those people that ask the questions. Thanks.
So I want you, and I know that 9 people doesn't seem like a lot in the grand scheme of things, especially with these bigger streamers who can have thousands. But what I like to think in my head when it comes to your audience and stuff like that is there may only be 5 people watching us right now, but if you could just imagine those 5 people are behind you and listening to every word you say, it's a good feeling. So we gotta keep at it, and hopefully one day maybe, this topic this channel blows up, because there's not too many people right now that are having a generational topic. It's people of one age group that are all around the same age that are just kind of hanging out and doing their thing. And who knows, maybe this idea will kick off. It was a good idea, Kyle.
Yeah, I love you, buddy.
I love you too, Kyle. Thank you so much for talking with me, and we will do this. I think we're going to schedule it for Sundays, correct?
Correct.
Alrighty. So let's plan for this. Oh, your kid's coming into town.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Maybe we can do a quick hour session with your kid, and we'll get 2 opinions from this generation.
Yep, sounds good, bud.
Alrighty, Uncle Kyle. It was good talking with you. I hope you have a wonderful night and get a good amount of sleep. And I will talk to you later.
Cheers.
All right, cheers, buddy. Have a good night.
All right.
All right. Night.